Genshin Impact isn't fun anymore. It's a topic I've seen float around a lot on the internet in recent years, and even more so since the version 2.7 delay. With more time to spend on exploring new hobbies and playing video games than ever before, the OG Genshin players are starting to realize that Genshin isn't as fun. It's a scary thing to come to terms with, accepting that a hobby you've enjoyed for as long as you can remember suddenly doesn't entertain you anymore. For a lot of people, it's even more disheartening because they've come to this realization after just managing to get the console or setup of their dreams. Things they strived for years ago are finally tangible and right in front of them, but Genshin just doesn't provide enough content for them to experience. These are things I had to come to terms with throughout the past couple of months. Now I know what you might be thinking. Seiun, isn't it a bad idea to try to make a career out of making videos online about a game you don't enjoy playing anymore? And yeah, I'd agree, not exactly the best decision, so let me explain a bit. I've been playing Genshin for almost as long as it's been out. I can remember the first time I started playing, the fresh open world to explore and the combat to experience. The sheer amount of content there was massive at the time, but all that was just background noise in my head compared to the fresh sights and sounds of what is now one of my favorite games ever. Playing Genshin during this time period felt limitless. I had no concept of how much there was to this game, from the NPC responses to the little flowers I can collect. But then, after I finished the story and explored the entire world map, I found the game to become really boring. At first, I assumed I was just unmotivated or maybe even burnt out, but over time I came to realize that I just wasn't enjoying Genshin anymore. I got scared that I spent all this time and money on a hobby I wasn't interested in anymore. Scared that the YouTube channel I wanted to start was already dead in the water. Scared that I'd be giving up a huge part of what formed my online identity. I calmed myself down and took a step back. It makes sense that I'd start feeling this way about Genshin. Doing anything pretty much every day for long enough would ultimately become mundane and sort of boring. So I asked myself, what can I do to have fun with Genshin again? For a while, I was stumped, but during my time, I decided to just take a break and start working on what Genshin video I should make next. And while that was still technically gaming, it was mostly for work and I could take the time to figure out what I wanted to really do about my problem. What I found though is that as I was taking a break from playing Genshin, for the most part, my desire to start playing it started rising again. But once I actually managed to start up Genshin, my desire to continue playing it would immediately fall, and I'd get off it within 30 minutes after just doing my dailies and using my resin. What I came to realize is I had no variety in what I was doing. I would get on my computer and boot up Genshin only to see that there was nothing to do. I decided to actually take the time and figure out what else I can actually do on Genshin that wasn't so boring, and I've never been happier for it. I realized that what I was experiencing overall wasn't me not finding Genshin fun anymore, I just wasn't finding the single player experience as interesting. For the past couple of weeks, I've been joining other people's worlds, helping them out, and just meeting new people who love this game as much as I do. I just needed a breath of fresh air. I helped players with their artifacts and weapons and gave them the ins and outs of everything they need to know about the game. Helping new players and just having a good time playing Genshin in general reignited my love for the hobby. This peaked when the announcement of the version 2.7 delay came out. I started learning more about the game, scouring Kuching mains and Reddit forums that talked about so many things that I just had no idea about. Now yes, from the outside you can just think that I've become another theory crafter getting hooked on the stats and numbers, but I saw it as more info I can provide for new players that get confused on a certain thing about the game so I can help them better. It had been a hot minute since I had that feeling of enjoyment I had when I first booted up Genshin, and it was then that I realized that my love for Genshin was almost the same as it was back then, and what it took was for me to step outside my comfort zone and try things I would have never thought of. For all the people who came to this video looking for a solution, I'm sorry to say I don't have one. I know that growing out of a thing you love for so long is tough, but it's okay if you don't want to play Genshin anymore. If you still want to play Genshin but don't find yourself interested, all I can do is give you advice that worked for me. Step 1 is just to take a break. I know this sounds a bit sarcastic, but picking up new hobbies or even just engaging in different forms of entertainment can be fun and exciting. When I started watching anime again, I was almost overwhelmed by the sheer amount of shows I had on the list I forgot about. Admittedly, I burned through a lot on the list, but I came on the other side with amazing experiences. I mean, have you seen Tokyo Ghoul? That shit goes crazy. Getting back on track, after you take a break, try the multiplayer version of Genshin. Try new experiences and maybe meet and help new players. Sometimes all it could take is a fresh spin on a gameplay loop you've experienced 1,000 times over. I appreciate it if you made it to the end of this video. I know this entire thing was a little different from what I usually upload, but I wanted to talk about the current state of where I'm at with Genshin. Now, version 2.7 getting delayed isn't really miHoYo's fault. Shanghai is having one of their biggest lockdowns since the pandemic started and are probably not allowed to leave their homes. And like I said earlier, this isn't a solution for everyone. It's just the way I've been playing Genshin recently, so I don't quit the game for good. Another thing is, if I sound a little weird in this video, I just got Invisalign, so for the next couple of months, I might sound a bit goofy. Well, anyways, make sure to sub. I've been trying to get to 1K as soon as possible. Also, check out these other videos as well. Anyways, thanks for watching, and see ya.